Hey guys, just like the title says, let's do some candles that need to come back from Bath & Body Works. You know, those long discontinued candles that we haven't seen in years. Let's put a video out there listing the ones I'd like to see come back. And of course, we're just gonna focus on fall fragrances because that's just kind of what I'm doing right now. One thing I wanted to mention, my scent of the day from Frank Olivier is Blue Touch. I've talked about this one on my channel. It is one of my favorite clones, and that is a clone of Acqua di Gio. And the candle I have going right now, I don't have anything going under the lamp over here right now, but I do have something burning. It is Midnight Moon from Homeworks. Believe it or not, Midnight Moon is my first repurchase this fall from Homeworks. And they've been bringing back a lot of classic fragrances. I mean, they have a lot of classics coming back this fall between QVC and Shop. They've got a lot coming back this year. They've got a lot out this fall so far. I've seen quite a bit, and we're kind of just in the early stages. And this right here, this is my first repurchase this fall. It was just a very random candle that I bought in one of my haul videos towards the beginning of when I was first starting this channel back up again. And I just kind of threw it in there because it was a fragrance I didn't try last year, and I was curious about it. And this thing has become such a huge hit for me in this household. So, I mean, the fresh pumpkin, the candied ginger in this one, a little bit of a fresh outdoorsiness too. I know it says dark woods on there, but I feel like it's more of a freshness to it. Just really love that one. And that is my third. I bought a 2-pack on QVC, and of course I bought one from Shop. So that is my third one of those so far this fall. Okay guys, let's get into this. Fall candles I would love to see Bath & Body Works bring out of the vault. And really the only stipulation for this video, there's two stipulations. It has to be a candle that I own, that I have knowledge of, I know what it smells like, therefore, you know, I can talk about it at least a little bit and, you know, seem like I know what I'm talking about. And the other stipulation is that it's a candle that's been gone for a few years now. I don't really want to include anything that we've seen maybe 2 or 3 years ago, something that has come out within recent memory. So I'm going to kind of leave a little bit of a gap, nothing that's come out within the past 2 or 3 years that we just haven't seen again. I'm going to try to get back to some of the older candles from Bath & Body Works that we have not seen in recent memory. And some of these are all-time classic fall candles. I'm not going to really go into much depth on a lot of them, just going to kind of run by, give a little brief synopsis. Okay, I'm going to start with two that really I'm just going to kind of consider one. This is not necessarily a top 10 or anything like that. It's just a group of candles for fall that I'd love to see Bath & Body Works bring back. I'm just going to talk about these two together because they are very similar fragrances. Of course, Apple Crumb right here, which we have not seen since this year that it came out. This is a 2013 candle. At least that's what it says on the bottom of my candle. I purchased this in 2015. So I bought it from the website. I don't know if it just stuck around that long, but I bought that in 2015. And then Cider Donut. This is also a 2013 candle from the Silverleaf collection. They are very similar fragrances. I actually prefer Apple Crumb over Cider Donut. This has a little bit more of that vanilla sweet creaminess. And the reason why this one really kind of perplexes me as to why they haven't brought this one back, we've seen Harry Slatkin now do this candle, his own little variation of it, which I'm pretty sure this was a Harry Slatkin creation to begin with. We've seen him do his own little variation with Homeworks and with Scentworks. Spiced Apple Crumb from Homeworks and the Warm Apple Pie candle from Scentworks. So you gotta kind of figure that these oils are out there. You know, they're not just running out of these oils, and this candle is not gonna be made because those oils no longer exist and they can't really bring it back as a very similar fragrance. They absolutely could. We've seen that with Spiced Apple Crumb from Homeworks and then Warm Apple Pie from Scentworks. Those are the two I'm gonna start off with. One that I have really kind of just fallen in love with over the years because I purchased so many of this candle and I get to burn them, you know, here recently because I've been burning a lot of past candles, and this one needs to come back. I didn't really realize how much I loved it back in the day, but that is pumpkin coconut, and this is the most bakery coconut fragrance I really have ever burned from Bath & Body Works. It is a very baked, shredded coconut fragrance. It's not that tropical suntanny coconut at all. Probably one of my all-time favorite bakery fragrances, if you can believe that. I never really truly loved this candle until the past couple of years when I've really started to burn it more often, burned a lot of my backups, and I really started to fall in love with it here recently. Would love to see this one come out. Another one from that 2015. 2015 was really the first hardcore year that I went with Bath & Body Works. I had started with them before that, probably even a couple of years before that, but I wasn't buying their candles on a regular basis. So the fall of 2015 was really when I started to hoard their fall candles. And that was actually one of the more underrated fall years, I feel like. Apple Pumpkin Pancakes. We have not seen this candle since 2015. And yeah, this stuff needs to come back. I mean, this is just, it almost smells like a breadiness in this fragrance, a sweet kind of syrupy apple. Literally almost smells like a luxury type of loaf of bread, a syrupy apple on it, maybe a little bit of a spiciness. I don't get a lot of maple in this. When Bath & Body Works does pancake fragrances, they usually include some type of maple syrup in it. There might be some type of caramel in this though. It's not an overwhelming caramel fragrance though. A little bit of a nuttiness in this one as well. But it's that baked breadiness in this with the apple, the syrupy apple. Would love to see this one come back. Haven't seen this one since 2015. Really underrated year for fall candles. Then this one, one of my favorite years, probably my favorite years from Bath & Body Works. The reason this year, which was 2016, and by the way, the fragrance is Berry Pumpkin Strudel. The reason this year was so memorable to me was because that was the first year that we had our first local White Barn open in the local mall that we have in Oklahoma City. And also that year was probably my first real hardcore year on YouTube. I really kind of took things seriously that year. Of course, you can't see any of those videos anymore. I still have them. I'm just never going to put them back up. But Berry Pumpkin Strudel. This one is all about that red hot cinnamon and berry combination. So it's really not just red hot cinnamon. I know a lot of people really seem to focus on the red hots of this candle. But it's not just that. I kind of compared this one to Harvest Gathering when it first came out. They're not the same fragrance, but they are definitely in the same fragrance family. Very spicy cinnamon. Little bit, just a little bit of that Strudel bakery, but it's really about the berries and the cinnamon. Would love to see Berry Pumpkin Strudel come back to us. I stocked up on this one as well. My purchasing habits back then were completely different than what I do now. If I purchased 3 or 4 of a candle, that really didn't mean anything. Back then, that just meant I liked it. I mean, that didn't really mean I loved the candle or anything. That just meant I liked it. So as far as what I do now with my purchasing habits, you can really tell a difference between how I want to proceed with my candle collecting. If I purchase you again, that means I have absolutely fallen in love with you. I won't buy just 3 or 4 of a candle just because anymore. This is one though that would be an easy repurchase nowadays. And then we go back to 2015. Just ignore the label on this one. I apologize for that. Radiant Red Maple. Look at that. I don't know how the lettering has been torn off over the years. It's not necessarily anything I'm doing. I'm not rubbing the labels off on my candles. I don't know how that's happening. I'll say this, the best marshmallow that Bath & Body Works has ever done. There's almost a real smooth, creamy caramel undertone here. It's not necessarily something that jumps out in this fragrance. Nobody's gonna smell this and immediately think of caramel. There might be a little bit of a woodsiness undertone to this fragrance, but it's not a lot. It's not a woodsy fragrance. It's not a red maple fragrance. It's marshmallow and apple, a Macintosh apple combination. It's very sweet. The apple and marshmallow combination are very sweet. And that's where I say that the caramel kind of comes in as maybe just a little bit of a base for it. But it is not a smoky fragrance. It's not a woodsy fragrance at all for me. It's more of a sweet gourmand, and I would love to see Radiant Red Maple come back someday. Okay, let's go back to 2012, Cinnamon Nut Bread. I don't think this was a real huge hit when it first came out. It never gained a lot of popularity as far as something that you would think, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna bring that one back. And I don't think they did after 2012. It has a very strong molasses feel to it in it with some spices. And it's funny, I don't really get it while I'm smelling it on cold, but when I'm burning this, it turns into a banana bread fragrance. So cinnamon nut bread is the name here, but it actually turns into a banana bread when I burn it. I don't know what that's all about because it really doesn't smell distinctly like a banana fragrance like you would smell right now from the fragrances they've put out in the past couple of years from Bath & Body Works. You don't get the banana like you do in those, where it's very much a noticeable banana. But cinnamon nut bread, we haven't seen this one for a hot minute. Would love to see this one come back. And then another one from that fall of 2015, pumpkin sugar cookie. I'm pretty sure this was, I want to say that this was one of the test store exclusive candles. Correct me if I'm wrong. It smells very heavy of brown sugar and buttercream. As a matter of fact, when I smell this, I don't really necessarily think of a sugar cookie. And of course, there's nothing in here that reminds me of anything pumpkin. Yeah, I get a heavy brown sugar. It's very thick. And cinnamon, spices, maybe even nutmeg here. I mean, you can twist and turn this into a sugar cookie, I guess. Probably one of the most hyped candles I've ever seen while I've been with Bath & Body Works. I don't know if it necessarily deserves that hype. I feel like if this one were readily available everywhere at that time that it came out, which I don't think it was available online to purchase. I only think it was available in certain stores. I feel like it probably wouldn't have caught the amount of hype that it did, but because, you know, supply and demand, it did catch the hype. But I would love to see this one come out. We don't really have anything like this one within the past 2 or 3 years that we've seen at Bath & Body Works for fall. There's not really been anything I can compare this to. Of course, my memory is not the greatest, but that's Pumpkin Sugar Cookie. 2017, one of the worst years for Bath & Body Works fall. It is Hey Honey, Honeyed Pear. This actually reminds me of when I moved into this house, this current house that I'm living in, so it has a lot of scent memories for me. I burned this one quite a bit when I first moved into this house, and I really haven't touched it since then, so it does have a lot of positive memories from, you know, moving into this house, things that were happening around that time frame. A very, just like what it says, honeyed pear fragrance. Maybe even a little bit of a bakery undertone for this one. It says buttery caramel. I definitely get honey and pear in this. Not necessarily caramel. Okay, yeah, not necessarily anything bakery either. It's honey and pear. It's pretty simple. It reminds me of when I first moved in here. Would love to see this one come back. Hey Honey, Honeyed Pear. Wow, another one from 2015. I did not realize I had so many from that year. It was such a hugely underrated year. Okay, this is the last one. Cranberry Pumpkin from 2015. We haven't seen this one since that year. Cranberry Pumpkin did come out, or at least a lot of people suspect it came out that same year, 2015, for Christmas, for the holidays. I mean, it could have been 2016. I can't remember. I think it was 2015. It was a cranberry cookie fragrance that was very, very similar to this. It might not have had the pumpkin overdose that this one has, but it was extremely similar. It was a cranberry and bakery. The two things there, cranberry and bakery, were the same. I don't think it really had much pumpkin. This one clearly has pumpkin though. And yeah, we actually compared Harvest Leaves quite a bit to this one. When that one came out from Homeworks, Of course, now that we've spent more time with harvest leaves over the years, it's easy to see the differences between the two. The cranberry and pumpkin combination, we don't really get to see that too often from Bath & Body Works. And I don't know why, because that combination just makes so much sense. Oh, that's a good one. I will not hesitate to say, I'm not ashamed. I've bought 2 or 3 of this one off of the black market and paid full retail price, if not over that. And once you include shipping, it's that good. Would love to see Cranberry Pumpkin make a return. Okay, we're getting down to the last 3 fragrances in this video, and you knew I had to include a cider fragrance in this list. There were a couple of other ones I could have included, but I'm gonna go with this one. And it was from 2016. This is Spiced Pomegranate Cider. Now, of course, we've smelled the Yankee Candle Cider House, which is very similar to this. So if you've smelled that, you probably have a pretty good idea of what this candle smells like. It's a very sweet apple cider, whereas it's not boozy, it's not tart, it's not spicy, it's very sweet. It says blackberry in this, and I could absolutely get that, but there's not really much of a tartness here either. It's more of a sweet blackberry, a sweet apple, maybe even a sweet cranberry in this too. I don't necessarily think of pomegranate when I smell this. But then again, those different fruits that I mentioned mixed together, I mean, they could very well be giving that impression of a pomegranate here, or the oil that they used is absolutely a pomegranate, but I've just never smelled that before. But it is delicious. This was a medium thrower, so it wasn't a huge throw. Never has been for me. I purchased multiple of this candle, and this is the last one I have of it. But as far as apple cider fragrances go from Bath & Body Works, if I were just to pick one to come back that we have not seen in a few years, this is the one I would go with. Spiced Pomegranate Cider. Okay, 2 more, and these are absolutely the top 2 fall candles for me all time from Bath & Body Works. There's no doubt about it. We're gonna start with Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. I talk about this candle any chance I get. I mean, it is the perfect marriage of a spicy pumpkin fragrance, fall spices, mixed with a fresh blueberry. And I'm sure people think of blueberry and they don't necessarily go, yeah, I want something blueberry for fall. But the way that's mixed with the pumpkin and the spices, it really just goes together so well. I can't count how many times I've seen over the years in the wax community, the candle community, when we've seen a blueberry fragrance listed on the list of candles to come out for Bath & Body Works for fall, somebody will inevitably say, oh, I hope that's Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. Or, yeah, this is Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. I mean, we've even seen that a time or 2. If you wanna experience a blueberry mixture with pumpkin and spices, and no, I don't just mean a fresh blueberry mixed with sweet cinnamon pumpkin. That's not what this is. This is on a different level. If that sounds like it's up your alley, this is the one you want to get. This is the one you want to ask Bath & Body Works to bring back. That's Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. Okay, here's the last one, my all-time favorite fall candle from Bath & Body Works. It is Pumpkin Sugar Donut. And this one came out in 2014. I can't tell you at this point how many candles of this fragrance I've gone through. And every single time when I burn this candle, the label inevitably wants to peel off on me. It gets that hot, and I just think that the labels probably weren't very secured on there with whatever adhesive they used. But it does burn very hot. It is a very hot burner. If you're thinking that this is cinnamon sugar donut just with pumpkin, think again. It's not. It's in another league compared to something like cinnamon sugar donut. I mean, it is a very sugared crystal pumpkin. And there's almost a little bit of a pumpkin cupcake in here vibe to it. Take pumpkin cupcake, put a lot of sugar crystal coatings over the top of it, and amp that throw probably to an 8 or a 9. I've never burned a pumpkin cupcake that has ever burned as strong or as well as this one. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last pumpkin cupcake that I ever burned that was really impressive to me. But this candle from 2014, the last time we've seen it, there is no fall candle that can give me the fall vibes that this fragrance can give me. There is no fall candle that can give me the pumpkin bakery vibes that this one can give me. And just to think, we haven't seen it in 8 or 9 years. I mean, that's crazy. I have only 2 of this fragrance left. I don't even know if I'll ever burn the candles, to be honest. But please, Bath & Body Works, please, if there is one candle I'd love to see you guys bring back for fall, it is Pumpkin Sugar Donut. Okay guys, that's my list. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me what you guys would like to see Bath & Body Works bring back for fall that we haven't seen in a few years. My apologies for taking so long in this video. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you soon.